All right. Low, high, or middle? Pick one.
Low.
High or middle, Tachi?
Middle.
Okay. The dice lands on a one. It looks like it's going to be Lemurio.
Wahaha.
All right.
Let's go.
And your district will be. Looks like you've got the high-end gambling entertainment district.
Oh god damn it! That's the one that I was like, I'm good if it's in any of the other ones.
It was a hot
All right.
three, baby. You're gonna have to come up with some.
Okay. So this district is, because I'm picturing, since this is in part of the mountain and there's like the slums and everything else, there's kind of like levels going up the mountain where it's like you probably have like the noble district all the way on top, and then you're like kind of gearing up uh to these, and I kind of picture the high end district being close towards the noble district,
Okay.
um kind of further up there. Very good view of the look down on the mountain. You got lots of fucking areas to gamble. Like there's probably like a nice casino. There's a lot of people that are like peddling things like maybe a circus that might pass through here. Lots of people that might travel from outside of the mountain come here trying to perform. You'll find lots of uh people performing, possibly like just in the middle of the street as you start coming through. People trying to just get gigs throughout the place, trying to fucking perform in various areas here. You'd probably be able to find something like a place to stay if you're somebody traveling from outside of the city, or outside of the city into here. In the high end district, um I feel like, besides the general gambling and everything, another big like show offy thing that they might have here in this area is like there's parts that have been caved out of the mountain, because there's this area is like a bit darker than the rest, where it is kind of harder carved into the mountain, and there are these big sturdy stone columns holding up this section of the city, where it's just like bits of the mountain have just been formed up into these columns. And further back in this area, there have been these large pits that have been made for a zoo, where they have lots of exotic animals that are here that they keep. Lots of things like bizarre like lizard creatures that might have been found in the slums, that are like not like specifically like just found in the slums, but maybe like found out in the wild prior. Maybe they're like more nourished, so you get like a good look at like what a healthy version of these things look like. Um you'll have like just creatures that are probably not well adjusted to the climate here, but like they're here to just be shown off to the people that are passing through. Animals are probably not the best taken care of, but for the most part, it's like just a big noisy fucking area where a lot of shit is just going on. Uh Feel free to give me questions to populate this more.
Is there like a couple theaters or something? I want to go watch a play. What's on show?
Yes, there would be theaters. There would most certainly be theaters here being performed. Um I'm sure that there would definitely be nobles that would invest into things like that as well.
What's popular?
Uh, what's popular?
Yeah, at the
I
theater.
would say the theaters. Yeah, at the theater. Probably. I would say stage plays. Uh, People enjoy watching the stage plays that are being performed there. So there would be like throughout the week they might go through various things. There's probably people that attempt to create new stuff. That's probably something that also might be a thing that the nobles are pitching into. Maybe some nobles might be like competing with each other. Like there might be like two families that are like, quick, we gotta fucking figure out some shit to show up the other fucking bastards. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on with that, and there's most likely people that are also coming outside of the city trying to basically make it big as some sort of performer in these stage plays.
Cool. Is the circus like a traveling
Yeah.
circus, or are they here all the time?
I would say a traveling circus. They might only be there for like a couple months and maybe move out, and they might have like other performances that come through throughout the year. So it might be like there's kind of like an open area that is left out where it's like a circus might come through here and then they'll fucking leave, and then some other form of entertainment will come through, like maybe like a, what do you fucking call those? Like a like almost showing off oddities and things like that. I forget what the hell those are called. Um but yeah, there definitely be things throughout the year where like they'll take some time there for maybe a couple months and then just make their way out,
Okay.
travel somewhere else. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Anything from you, Touch?
So, really stupid question.
Go right ahead.
You just
If
sound
we
so.
were to run about,
Oh no.
Uh-huh.
what kind of guns will we find in this district?
What kind of guns would you find in this district? I'm
Yes.
sure that if you fuck around and find out, much like in something like Vegas, there will probably be a man waiting in an alleyway to beat the shit out of you.
What's this guy's name? Does he does he look like the merchant from Resident Evil 4 or something? Like,
His name is Rough Johnny.
I love.
He's got big mitts on him, and he has a fucking musket ready. The fucking moment you take a turn around, he's like, "Hey, this is Rough Johnny's corner." I'll give you goods. You done snooped in the wrong business. Fucking God.
Good God.
Is Rough Johnny what you were looking for, Touch?
Did you want to
I
find
think-
Rough Johnny? Because you fucking found him and he's your
Yeah.
problem now.
Oh shit! I think I'm not sure about this one anymore. I don't want to fuck with that guy.
It's about to get rough, Johnny.
That's why they call him that.
How hard would it be to let animals out of the zoo? Like what are their security measures
How
looking like
hard?
here? Yeah.
Honestly, they've been put into the, like, I'm picturing like these big kind of like in an actual zoo will have these fucking pits that they put into there with the animals, but I'm sure that they have like maybe side areas for like when these pens have to be cleaned and stuff. So I feel like it would be difficult, but not impossible.
Do they have like guards?
Yeah, they most certainly would have to have some sort of guards to keep track of them, because I'm sure there's like very dangerous kind of animals that they would keep here.
Okay.
Especially like in a fantasy setting, something like that. Like it's like, yes, here is the chimera.
Ah, yes, the chimera. Edward.
Thank God these bars are right here, stopping him from being up here. And oh wait, I just remembered.
I forgot these bars were made of cardboard. Oh no.
Oh shit! I just remembered the Chimera can fire a beam, vaporizing these bars.
Instead of the ringmaster, it's just a pair of smoking boots. Okay. Any other questions,
fuck.
Tachi?
Nothing that comes up to mind.
From now on, I'm going to be expecting anything I invite Tachi to be as a player, and he's just going to be like, so where can I find guns? It's just going to be the one question I have to be prepared to answer every new area. All right, Tachi. High or low?
Right. High.
That's a 4. It's all you, baby. Let's see what you get.
All right.
And
All right.
that would put you in the residential district.
Residential.
Residential.
All right. There's a quick and very distinct disconnect between whatever district you come from and the residential district. Obviously, the noble district is the residential district for the nobles and kind of their stomping ground. But for everybody else that isn't in the slums, the residential district is home. As such, buildings here don't often crest above 2-3 stories tall. Considering it is currently built into the mountain, there's kind of that vertical challenge of making buildings work. But with what buildings they do have, they made it look very pretty, very clean. Usually they're made out of some sort of granite, polished marble that they have found sometimes in the mountain itself. The cobblestone, they're not really cobblestone, more like brick roads. There's brick main roads, and then it's up to the house owner if they wanted to brick up as well path leading into their homes or not. Most homes here have some sort of fence. It can range from a wooden fence to full on jail fences for the more upper middle class residents. Here there are small trees planted. You can tell that they're imported from somewhere. They don't naturally grow from any other district. Or in the meeting court district, you can find some trees sporting green, yellow, orange, sometimes even pink leaves, depending on the season. But they are mostly planted in rows along the main street to just kind of make that walk home a little bit more, cozy. Fireplaces and chimneys. Sorry, that's what it's. I call them fire holes. I was like
Fire towers.
Yeah, fire towers. No, chimneys are present in almost all of the buildings, even the ones that are very obviously like the kind of the mailbox houses or whatnot. Because it gets cold here, and when winter comes around and the sun doesn't show up very often, you need a place to be warm. There is a very distinct scent of vanilla and cinnamon in this district, and you can't tell if it's because that's just what everybody's eating, or if it's somehow artificially sprayed into the air.
Okay.
Somebody look like they have fruit trees I can steal from.
I'm sorry?
Does anybody look like they have fruit trees I can steal from? I'm hungry.
Yes, some homeowners do indeed plant fruit trees in their yard. Sometimes they plant it a little too close to the fence, so other people can just reach in without actually having to crawl into their property. Just reach up, steal a mango, steal an apple, whatever fruit have you.
Does it look like it's easy to like get into their backyard so I can steal fruit from there too?
Some of the lower fenced ones, the ones with the wooden fences, um, as they're not as solid as the metal fences, some of them, some of the planks that make up that chain of boards that make up the fence, then the people have kind of pushed it apart or bent it backwards somehow as they lean into it. Um, when there's a where there's a way. There's not particularly strong security in terms of the fences here. If you wanted to break into somebody's yard, yeah, you sure can.
Hmm.
But in very considering the very little cover from high buildings or the absence thereof, somebody from the neighborhood might see you crawling into somebody else's yard and be, "Hey, what the fuck?"
Yeah, speaking of that, what are the roofs like here?
The roofs here are tiled.
Ooh.
Clay tiles, very renewable,
Oh.
but also kind of, for some reason, especially during the winters, they kind of deteriorate. But clay is easier to replace than, say, granite or of that sort. People who can't afford or don't have the means to acquire clay do have thatch, thick thatch on their roofs, reminiscent of like longhouses from Viking cultures.
Yeah, but like, are they like mostly like slope roofs or like flat roofs?
Oh yes, they are sloped roofs. Yes.
Okay, okay.
Okay. Okay. Is there like a so because this is on the mountain or on the side of the mountain?
hmm
Is there any like part of this that is covered by maybe stone that is coming out of the mountain, or can you see like a good look at the sky from where this is?
Right. So this particular district is of the unfortunate fate of being built further into the mountain. So there's
I
kind of
see.
like a little concave, as the mountain itself starts covering over it, which is why there aren't too many tall buildings, and also why they chose to kind of make it as
I see.
white bright possible,
Oh, okay.
counterbalance.
How do they get rid of the smoke, like from the houses and stuff?
So the
Like,
magical thing about how the how they built into the into the mountain is that wind from the mountain itself, right? As wind passes through, it kind of tunnels in through whatever whatever how far they tunneled into, and that kind of, while it makes for a horrible wind chill in the winters, it would also
uh-huh.
ventilate the residential district.
Oh, that's perfect. How do they get rid of waste in this area?
So waste is handled. There are bathhouses. They're one of the buildings that aren't lived in, but still
Mhm.
have chimneys and other warm accessories. There's general plumbing through either, I want to call them canals, but not
You mean like
particularly.
aqueducts or
Right, you're right. Yes, that's the
okay,
yeah. Like
a
aqueducts,
okay.
just kind of leading either further to pull into a big kind of like waste management pool, which is then discarded somewhere, or um,
I'm assuming
kind
they're
of,
being like aqueducts from like mountain rivers
yeah.
and something like that.
Hmm.
Oh god, that's really cold water.
Yup.
Uh, um,
How do people get fucked up here?
yeah,
Fucked up.
they probably found like a nice source of water or something like that up here. Started fucking like just saying like it'd be kind of sick to live here, man.
Yeah.
It's- this is pretty. We should live here. It's like ever
God
since
damn.
then, everybody had to deal with the issue that this place exists. Bunch of rich motherfuckers decided to live here, and that's how this city happened. I want to spit on the poor people all the way from the top of this literal mountain.
Oh yeah, that was the feature I forgot about the slums. Occasionally, the noble
Oh.
people from the noble district just spit and it comes flying down the mountain wind into somebody's head.
Comes down as like a
Freezes on the way
fucking
there,
ice
and
pipe.
people are just getting pelted occasionally by frozen smoothies.
It's like
Oh
It's like
shit!
literally like those spit down a fucking ice spike. It's just
Yeah,
fucking
it's just natural
somebody
selection at that point.
somebody at the bottom just gets fucking pierced in the head. Holy shit.
Oh
They end up like
god.
wearing like fucking buckets on their head. or
Lots of eye patches in the Eslam district.
yeah, fucking don't look up. Just like
What do you mean? Ah!
you get a fucking bird like you get like this stray fucking bird and it just drops to the ground and becomes dinner because some nobleman spit and it fucking caught the bastard on the way down.
Just a cloud of feathers in the
Yeah. Like the fucking little street urchins all clustered together, just like, oh!
God, the slums got so much worse. They were already bad and they just got
Oh
worse.
my god. This is like the parallel where it's like the fucking, well, the birds are like tearing apart whatever fucking small creature or like carcass that they find on the street. It's no better for the birds. The moment the fuckers get dropped, it's just like these kids pulling it apart. The bird's just like, ah, ah.
I told you he'd scream eventually.
Yeah, eventually. Yeah. I was just listening. I was like, "Hey, let's go!" Oh man, but no. Speaking of like spitting down heights, I used to live in a converted military residential building when I was
Yeah.
little, and there was like 8 floors on this motherfucker. So I lived on the first floor, but I have friends on the 8th floor, and we go up to the 8th floor and we'd spit down because there's like the stairwell, right? It
Yeah,
looks
yeah.
outwards towards the parking lot, so we can spit down from the 8th floor and just watch, our fucking spit go down. But it hits to a certain point where it hits a particular velocity where your spit will split. It will split. You fucking spit it out. It'll fall maybe like 20, 30 feet, and then it'll split up. Either it'll split up in like, it can split up into 2, 3, 4. 4 was the most I've seen, but that was like one of our hobbies, was just spitting down. So like, if the nobles did that and it froze on the way down, it's like a fucking cluster bomb, bro.
That's a fucking typical nobleman's hobby. Is like, yes, the monthly spitting competition. I have been waiting for this. They've been perfecting their spitting technique.
There's like a little balcony they all go out onto in the nobles district just to spit down from.
Fucking Strebble over there, just like, I'm the best shot here. Fucking watches his spit split into four fucking human beings down there die. He's got the quadruple shot. His big fucking Tim boots step onto the wooden planks, and it's just like.
Winner of the nobleman's aim 4 years running.
Oh my fucking god. I love this place.
Oh god.
Oh fuck. That's great.
It's amazing.
So all that's left is the merchant district, so I guess I'll take this one.
Yeah. It's good.
The nobles district is rather unique of a place, you realize as you walk in. As the particular cobble and stone used for it, you've seen a few times passing through midways where there are little parts between the districts where the guards check people and make sure nobody's going where they shouldn't, or that they have permission who they're going to see in the nobles district. Every one of those has had the same stonework as the major part of the merchants district, because everyone has little stalls in between for, hey, you're going between, you look a little dry out there, you want to buy some water, buddy? So that is a familiar sight as you walk into the merchants district. The first thing you notice is there are a lot less buildings than you expect, especially for a place housed in a mountain. You would expect no abundance of stone. Instead, the way it seems to be structured is like halfway between what you would expect from like a stall, like a carnival or a festival where there's a bunch of stalls lined up. Instead, they have major shops are the cornerstones, and like there are four cornerstones in an area, and then everywhere between are little merchant stall alleys that very distinctly do not share the same merchandise as those four cornerstone shops. So there's almost bodegas, and then there's just street sellers in between with a bunch of wares that might supplement or go against what are the cornerstone bodegas. And then there are some that, just serve food and drink for people traveling through. Occasionally, mostly in the more high-end shops, you suspect these maybe get more funding from the noble district or the high-end district. These shops tend to have food, especially up in front on their alley stalls, and very aromatic food, stuff that's more likely to pull people over by smell, so that it seems like kind of a will pull people in. You can stay outside my shop. I'll give you a little bit of a cut from the bodega, and you cook out here. You make everything out here every day, and that's how we'll make our business. So it's set up in a bunch of these cornerstone style shops, and that lasts about two or three rows over, two or three columns up before it starts heading into the high-end district. And as you get further towards the high-end district, it obviously starts to become more catered to trying to look ritzy, trying to look wealthy. Most of the practical people, most of the people from, the meeting court area or the residential area are up front, very close to it, and you'll typically find more, home lifestyle stuff. In the middle is kind of the adventurers' wares, where you will find shops that blacksmith and sell the wares for that, potion shops, material shops, all that stuff in the middle. And then the high-end, over bougie versions of all of those are right at the end, and there's just enough of those that they don't really have to take up more than their end of the merchant district. The guard here is predictably fairly heavy. There's guards at the entrance, guards at the exit. There's about, you want to say on the average look, about 4 guards patrolling every set of cornerstones, as well as 1 guard that's just poached out on a corner watching for thieves and other big things, as well as watching incoming shipments on their wagons. There's no real place to sit down and rest. A lot of the food that's sold here is in your hand food. It's stuff you can take with you and go. They want you to buy at the stall and then go buy somewhere else.
What's the food like here?
The food is pretty interesting. There's not a lot of inwards coming culture. The Heimdoor is partially in a mountain. It gets cold. It gets very temperate. Not a lot of people want to go here to do their exchanges. The only real exception to that is a group of particularly more lizardkin inclined people. You would think they wouldn't particularly love the cold, and you'd be right. All of them are bundled up like tight hoods, very fluffy. They're very heavily padded. However, they're also cooking what you can get a glance of from a passing conversation to be desert food, and it's a lot of their stalls that are the particularly aromatic ones with lots of flatter, very golden crusted breads, heavily spiced to smell warm and inviting to almost contrast the cold of the mountain. If you end up looking away from them, you'll find a lot more of the closer to home type deals. And lots of thick breads, warm soups, stuff made from the mountain berries and herbs for, people with colds or people that are just trying to get a nice hearty meal.
Okay.
In particular, they seem to avoid bird dishes, as even here, these slums are just far away enough that there's not a lot of attention from the mountain birds. Occasionally, a really cheeky large one comes here, but the guards here seem to be trained in their slings, both for catching thieves on the run, and as you see a large bird swoop in towards one of the lizard smalls, one of the guards just in his chair leans back and whirls a sling, and bird falls clean out of the air.
That is pretty good. Yeah. You got anything, Tachi?
I do have a question here.
Do it.
All right. So, are there any like for example, in the noble district, there's a noble that owns all the stores.
Hmm.
Are there any similar kind of conglomerate or chain stores here? Or are they more kind of like mom and pop stores where it's individual and not necessarily company owned?
So the way it seems to go as you browse the market stalls and brush past the locals and even a couple tourists is that you see that alongside the door frame of every almost every there's like a very rare one or two or three that don't have this, but almost every one has this engraved in stone logo. The ritzier ones are, embossed in gold, or there's even one particular blacksmith that has theirs embossed in metal, but it's always a symbol of some kind, a fleur-de-lis, a series of flowering petals, an upside down mountain with a hammer coming into the base. All of these are noble crests. Each shop, almost every shop, except the rare few and a lot of the stalls, are sponsored specifically by nobles who take part of the income and direct their help get wares in, help encourage merchants to sell to them and buy from them and transport unique goods. So everybody is sponsored in some way, but there are no real chains. The nobles in the noble district tend to sell their own brand in the noble district. It's almost a mark of pride to have your shop not in there, but to have someone else selling for you and buying for you. And anything particularly interesting you can see occasionally, there is a young, not quite adolescent, but a fairly young set of errand children that run to and fro between the noble district carrying specific packages. And that seems to be how they maintain a little bit of extra change for their family, and it's how the nobles pick up goods that particularly interest them that might go to the merchant district instead of directly to the nobles.
Mm.
Also, none of them sell guns. Only Struggle Timsworth sells guns. Nobody's gonna try and step on his toes. It's either him or Rough Johnny. And some people are thinking those two are in competition, and some people are thinking that they're actually working together to monopolize the gun industry in Heimdoor. But nobody's quite sure, and nobody's gonna ask Rough Johnny. And
Actually, Rough Johnny's actually like some like
this is the black sheep of the family.
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
the black sheep. He got the family musket and fucked off.
What a reveal. This is John Hemsworth.
The lore.
My son, Rough Johnny, as they call you.
What brings you to my doorstep again? Not even wearing the family Tims.
Stop with that ridiculous accent. I'm Rough Johnny.
Look at you, boy. You're wearing some kind of rubber-heeled, comfortable running shoes? What are you, some kind of paltry adventurer? You have Timsworth blood in you.
Are those Air Force?
Black Air Forces, no less. What will the people think?
Shit, bro. Oh man, the Timsworth family ain't about this fucking black Air Force energy.
I'm Rough Johnny. I gotta be tough on the streets, Pops.
Well, the guys, they see me wearing the black Air Forces, they know I'm trouble.
That was that fucking boy.
They catch me running out there in these Tims. They're not gonna think I'm willing to bust a shell into somebody,
I'm gonna bust a fucking musket blast in their head.
Make a body drop out there in the streets of Agata.
Oh, no.
I'm Rough Johnny.
The deepest lore of the merchant district.
Oh man. I'd say this city's been constructed.
How could you not use a city with both Rough Johnny and Strebble Timsworth in it, man?
Oh,
shit.
Timsworth.
Just that fucking like it's like that Skyrim like Battleborn and like that Emily feud in Whiterun.
Oh,
Oh my god, yeah, that's right. When you get here, that's like one of the main like pull-ins is just you might encounter Rough Johnny, and if you inquire more about like that's like the party has an encounter with Rough Johnny. If they decided to spare him and talk to him more, they start to learn of his estranged father, Stubble Timsworth.
Yeah. Oh shit.
and then partway along the quest, they can choose to try and garner his father's favor, get on his good side by participating in the monthly Noble's Aim contest.
Yeah, yeah.
You have to put. Go on, boy. Show me that you're a Timsworth.
See that one right there in the middle, near the cuts right there. Easy target, prime
He has
range.
He has a fucking like pair of binoculars or like a fucking what do you call that? What's the single fucking one? The fucking one that you can
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
The telescoping one.
No.
Yeah,
They all have people to spot for them, and then Timsworth just walks up to the railing and goes, "That one," just spits, and they fall over immediately.
It's like I'm picturing this thing where he pulls out like his fucking spyglass. He's walking forward and like off the side of his fucking like it's like strapped on the side of his leg. He pulls this thing out. He gives it a quick flick as it unfurls out, and he takes a good spot looking down from the mountain. He's like, "Target spotted."
he's got a little bullseye shaped flask, and then he just swishes around his mouth.
Oh my god.
Everyone's positive he's doping for these competitions, and he offers them a swig, and it's just some really classy scotch.
Yeah, yeah.
I want them to die knowing what money tastes like.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, what the fuck?
What a
Best.
Oh my god. I didn't
Oh,
expect to
man.
find out these characters.
Shit. Bro, the Timsworth dynasty is gonna be a thing.
Holy shit. I gotta do something with this in my
Yeah, right.
I gotta write this shit down.
Don't worry, you'll be able to refer back afterwards. But that covers the 6 districts of Heimdoor. And several people of color in it, mostly Rough Johnny and Mr. Timsworth. But as always, if you're taking a listen to this, you're free to snatch any of this for yourself, twist, warp, use it how you please. Video is free to access for everyone. If you'd like to support the Setting the Scene series, you can check out my Patreon in the links down below. I pull in various guests that I know, mostly people who have both experience in the DM seat and in the player seat, just so we get some round perspectives, but the topic's always different every week. Gentlemen, let's start with Tachi this time. Where can people find you if they want to get more of you?
So, if they want to get more of me, they can find me on Twitch at Tachikuma_Enryu. I'm sure our beloved host here will type it out for those who do not know how to spell that.
Of course.
You can also find me on Twitch. I stream there every Friday and Saturday, sometimes on off days as well. Twitch.tv/Tachikuma.
Okay. And Mr. Sackman, how can they find you in a time of need?
I also stream. I also make YouTube videos from time to time, working on one currently. But you can usually find me at Mario Sack, all one thing. I believe on YouTube and Twitch, both are just Mario Sack. And on Twitter, I am Mario_Sack.
Yeah, excellent. And of course, all of their links will be down below if you want to get more of either one of these gentlemen. We also do occasionally do collabs on ye old Twitch, so check us out on Twitter. Keep an eye out for that. I think that'll wrap up this episode. Any final comments, gentlemen?
Don't
This is
fuck
fun.
with Strip with him.
I'm Rough John.
Remember, in the end, we are all Rough Johnny. Thank you, and have a wonderful evening.